back to a brand new edition of Embrace Debate here on the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, powered by the Fans First Sports Network. You can catch all previous episodes, audio versions on that network on all major podcast platforms. I'm your host, Desmond Johnson, joined by Cody Lachney from the Carolina Chronicles and Monty Fetti from the Four Man Rush. Every week you can hear Panther-centric debate every end of the week. I think we'll be on Thursday starting after this week, but we got a preseason game. Week 1 coming up here, Panthers and Jets. I'm not going to get into, if you've been following me on Twitter, you know my situation. I went down to Spartanburg yesterday, tried to see the last practice. They got canceled due to severe weather. But shout out to Monster Subs who hooked me up. Probably one of the best subs I've ever had in my life, to be honest. Get the Kraken. And the secret, get the Kraken and get it hot. It's supposed to be a cold sub, but I got it hot. And they really hooked it up. Shout out to them. They're making me consider driving 2.5 hours just to get a sandwich. So pretty good. Monty, Cody in the house. Short episode today. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first one. If you guys want to comment on these topics, you can do so in the Facebook watch comment section or at youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio. You can just comment there and we'll pick up your comments. First question for you guys. Bigger acquisition this offseason. Wide receiver Adam Thielen or outside linebacker Justin Houston? That's kind of a layered question. Which one of you guys want to take that on first?
Go ahead, Monty.
Big, what one was going on, fellas? It's hard to say which one is the biggest addition because we haven't seen Justin Houston play yet. So we really haven't seen him take any snaps with the team. So I'm by default I'm gonna go with Adam Thielen, but I by the end of the year, I think Justin Houston has a potential to be the bigger, have the bigger impact between the two. But again, I think that both are going to be good players for our, I think both bring a lot of, experience, bring a lot of, that developmental factor that we needed with the younger guys. They kind of bring that for our room there. So, I'm excited to see what they both bring for that room. But I'm going to side with Adam Thielen just off the strength of we haven't seen Justin Houston play yet.
Cody, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Justin Houston. So I love Adam Thielen, and I love what he has the potential to do for this offense. But I do feel like he's probably the third or fourth receiver right now. Whereas if you look at Justin Houston, not only did this man once upon a time have 22 sacks in the season and 9.5 sacks just last season, but this is also a veteran on this defensive line at a time when our best pass rusher, Brian Burns, is going to be playing 3-4 outside linebacker for the first time in his career. What a better mentor and veteran for Brian Burns to be around than Justin Houston, right when Burns is making this pivotal transition in his career. Having that type of veteran leadership on our defense, I feel like we've all been worried about that for a while. We wondered why we didn't draft a defensive end in the second round. That's what a lot of people thought that we were going to do. So I love Adam Thielen, but I really do feel like Justin Houston in this defense can really pay dividends.
I can see it both ways, and that's why I kind of picked those two players in particular, because those two position groups we were kind of looking at like, oh, this might be the only holes left on this roster, really. Houston, we needed somebody since Hassan Reddick left to be on the other side of Burns, and I didn't realize Justin Houston he's had like 111 sacks in his career.
Yeah, the dude's insane.
He had a 22 sack season in 2014. Like, the dude is a monster. So he had 9.5 last year, and he wasn't even playing full amount of snaps. So that could be something to keep an eye on with him and Burns on opposite ends there. And then, of course, Thielen, and there's questions coming up here in just a second. Thielen, I didn't realize how much of a mentor role he was going to have on his team. He's like kind of the elder statesman of the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
And
I'll say this, Des. I mean, to your point, I don't disagree with anything that y'all are saying, but to Adam Thielen's point, I mean, Adam Thielen has 30 touchdowns over the last three years. So I feel like if we're going to play just a production game, Adam Thielen is up there with Justin Houston if we're talking about a touchdown game, because he's a red zone weapon, and I feel like I don't want to say he's going to fit that safety blanket role that Christian McCaffrey had, because I think that's putting a lot on Adam Thielen. But I think he's going to kind of be that safety blanket slot receiver that Bryce is going to depend on. And I think we can't overstate that enough, because that's going to be huge for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm going to say Adam Thielen now, but by the end of the year, I'll probably be going Justin Houston.
That's fair because again, like to your point, Monty, we haven't seen Justin Houston yet. I don't expect to see him on Saturday. I mean, he just got to the team a couple of days ago. Like, I don't think he'll play week 1. He might be out there for a couple of snaps, but then again, he's 34. He might not need to. I don't expect to see Andy Dalton at all either. There's really no reason to have him out there. I do know they did say Bryce was going to start. He'll play. I don't know how long. I wouldn't have him out the whole half. I don't think you really need that, but just maybe a quarter, couple of series. Let's see what's going on with it. But we'll see what they do Saturday. CJ says Darren Gant this morning on WFNZ said Brian Burns was unblockable and all over Rodgers every other snap in the joint practice on Wednesday. I saw a little bit of that too. Where Burns.
Him and Derek Brown, dude. Him and Derek Brown could not block.
I think this year Brian Burns is going to be talked about as a top 3 pass rusher.
I agree,
in the
bro.
NFL.
I think the same for Derek Brown. I think Derek Brown is going to have. I've been at almost half the practices, bro. And every single practice, I leave saying, dude, Derek Brown is eating our interior of our pretty much the pass rush. He's eating the guards up like it's nothing. Now, mind you, I understand we do have backups blocking him, so that's I'm gonna kind of give them that benefit of the doubt there. But dude, Derek Brown has been balling all camp, so I think him and Brian are gonna have a huge year this year, man.
Man, if Derek Brown could take that step from being just like a run stopper to like an Aaron Donald type of disruptor in the middle, that's that's something completely.
That's nasty work.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
just nasty. I wanted to ask, what was your biggest takeaway? I assume by now, because I know both you guys are Panther junkies, I assume by now you've both watched episode 1 of Camp Confidential that came out a couple nights ago. What was your biggest takeaway from watching it? Because really, it's kind of the Panthers' hard knocks, but they're controlling the narrative, so to speak. So you're seeing what they want you to see, but you're getting a real inside look at like the coaching staff and like how some of these players are and how they're interacting and everything. What was the big takeaway that you had from watching episode 1, Cody?
Man, I mean, how could you not love Deuce Staley anymore? You know what I mean? Like the dude's incredible. I love that guy. But no, I'm actually gonna say everyone has bought in. Like there's that part when Frank Reich is talking to the entire team, and I mean, my goodness, like you see how they're laser focused in on what he was saying, and he was talking about instead of 1-0, we're 0-0. We haven't earned that 1 yet. And I love that. And especially when you juxtapose that based on what our team felt about Matt Rule last season and like what I call the fake amount of buy-in, like people being good human beings and good teammates and not saying nothing. But to me, it feels genuine this year. It feels like they all believe that they have the potential to do something like really special this year. And the fact that they have the number 1 overall pick in Bryce Young, coming to be the franchise savior. Like that's what everyone's hoping. So to me, it's the amount of buy-in that I noticed from the team.
Two quick things. Yeah. The fact that Bryce was picked number 1 overall, it's becoming really clear that this wasn't a draft where it was like multiple guys that could go number 1. Like it feels like Bryce was going to be the number 1 pick after we've seen him now for the past couple of weeks, regardless of who had the number 1 pick. It was going to be Bryce Young more than likely. 2, you just reminded me of Cam Newton's comments when he was here for the second time, and someone had asked about team, and he was kind of vague about it, and he was saying you can kind of see that there's some people that haven't bought in completely yet, and he kind of left it hanging there. And at the time, we were like, what does that mean? It's just Cam talking Cam. But now looking back on it, he was spot on. Like he knew exactly what he just didn't want to call out names or whatever. And I'm just remembering I need to go back and find that press conference and listen to him again because he was pretty much laying out there that Rule had already lost like half the team at that point, and he was kind of saying it there. Monty, what was your takeaway from Camp Confidential?
Yeah, a lot of the same thing what Cody said, man. It seemed like just the camaraderie was there. It seemed like that they were not only bought in, but I feel like the biggest thing I took away what it was when Frank Reich said that he was kind of thinking of like kind of a catchphrase of what to say, and he kind of thought of it like, we're not going to come up with a catchphrase this year. We're just going to go out there and prove it. And that was kind of the biggest thing that I've taken away. And that's kind of the atmosphere all camp that we've seen. It's not any catchphrases, not any cool, funny slogans this year. It's, man, we're here to play ball and we're here to win. And that's kind of the biggest takeaway I've got from it, man. And just honestly, fellas, the way that the players have embraced Bryce, man, it's like you can tell from the time he's been here till now, dude, all the players are not only in love with Bryce as a leader, but, you know, I feel like we didn't get that, you know, that kind of support from the quarterback position when Sam Darnold was here, when Baker was here. And to your point, Des, Cam came straight out and said it. It's like, dude, guys have not bought in yet. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was the big, and we can even go a step further. The year prior to when Teddy was here, and Teddy pretty much echoed a lot of the same things that, hey man, guys, we're out there playing on Sunday, and we're doing things that we hadn't even practiced throughout the week. And I feel like those were kind of the biggest things that I took away from it. It was like, when you listen to all these different players that have been here for a while, they all say, hey, we're learning and we're doing things that over the last 2 or 3 years we just weren't doing. You know, we weren't when a quarterback comes out and say we weren't even practicing red zone, and that's concerning for me.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is concerning for a quarterback to say we weren't even practicing red zone when that rule.
We thought Teddy was lying. We thought Teddy was just trying to say.
I didn't even believe his ass, man.
Like,
People got really mad at me.
That was the thing, bro. Everybody slandered Teddy Bridgewater for saying that, but then when you look at the tape, it looked like they didn't practice. It looked like they came out there Sunday and said, "Hey, well, if you get to the red zone, just give the ball to Chris McCaffrey and see what happens."
Yeah, I had to give Teddy a public apology over there.
I did too,
bro.
Actually, 2 weeks ago, believe in Panthers, Stu forced me to give him an apology, so I was like, all right, let me go ahead and apologize to Teddy. I was hard on him. I was hard on him bad.
I understood the Teddy slander, but it got absurd, and now here we are 2-3 years later, and we're like, hey man, everything these guys were saying is 100% true.
Well, it seems so absurd at the time, like, bro, what kind of professional NFL team is not practicing red zone drills?
Ours.
Like, it just seemed like, bro, he has to be lying. But sure enough, man, that man was telling the God's honest truth.
But it's crazy, too, the night and day difference. That was the takeaway I had from it, was the structure. It didn't feel like we had structure. Like, looking back on it, the 3 years that Rule was here, it felt like it was Rule, and then he had, like, minions like underneath him, like handpicked guys that he knew would do whatever. Yeah, Phil Snow and guys
Robbie
like
Anderson.
Yeah, like his dudes, Temple dudes, Baylor dude. Like, he was trying to build a college program at the NFL level. And watching Camp Confidential, I realized the last couple of dudes, the only dude that's really did it and did it well was Jimmy Johnson. And even then, he didn't try to build a college team. He just knew how to pick talent. Like, he knew being at Miami, he knew what talent was. So he was picking Miami guys, which at the time, I mean, you're talking late 80s, early 90s. That's who you're going to go get. You're going to go get guys from Miami. So, I mean, that understood. But you look at like Steve Spurrier, Nick Saban, guys that tried to go to the pros and implement what they thought would be their system, but really it's just a college system in disguise. And now we're hearing players come out and say, last year before, it kind of felt like college more than it did the pros, where they're competing for positions against each other as opposed to being a team. But one of the things I took was the Brian Burns and Bryce Young. They have this weird like friendship that's growing between the two of them.
I love it.
Yeah, I see them all the time interacting with each other, goofing around, and like I love the fact that Burns took it upon himself, I think, to basically bring him in to the fold, and like he's one of the Panthers now. Like, it's not
like the older brother.
Yeah, like they're really, I don't know, it's genuine. It seems genuine when I see it. And same thing with Bryce and his receivers, like stuff like him having him out in Cali before this to work on routes and stuff like that. You didn't see Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or any of those guys doing anything like that. They were worried about themselves. So I mean, that kind of thing. We'll see Saturday. They take on the Jets. I think it's a 4:00 kickoff. You should be able to see it on local television, if not on NFL Network up here in North Carolina. Usually it's on WFMY News too, so you should be able to find that there. Speaking of which, for the game Saturday, what's a storyline or player you're keeping an eye on this Saturday, Panthers versus Jets? Because there's a lot of different things going on, first string, second string, depth type stuff going on, scheme. Although it is preseason week 1, I don't know how much scheme we're actually going to get. Monty, what's the one thing you're going to look at Saturday watching this game? And are you going to it?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make the game. I was making a joke with shout out to my guy Dunk there. I was making a joke with him. It's like I refuse to pay for preseason games. but no, I'm gonna say two. I'm gonna give two things I'm gonna look for, and it's gonna be our first two picks from this past draft. It is gonna be Bryce Young and Mingo, man. I want to see, that connection. I want to see what they look like when they're on the field together. And I'm probably going to lean towards Mingo because I want to see what Mingo looks like, with Bryce and then without Bryce on the field. I want to see how he lines up against other corners. I want to see, how he beats press. If they press him any, that's probably going to be the biggest thing for me. After I was kind of on the fence about Mingo all throughout camp, and then this last the last practice that I went to, Mingo went off, man, and I kind of see where the upside that people are referring to with Mingo, and that's kind of what I want to see here on Saturday. He doesn't have to have I'm not gonna put a number on it, what I'm expecting for him to produce, but I just want to see him look look confident. I want to see how he looks, when pressure's put on him. That's all.
Look like you know what you're doing. Look like
exactly. Right.
Look like you ain't just running around like, I don't know what's going on. I just watched the Johnny Manziel Untold last night on Netflix, and I did not realize this dude got all the way to the NFL without watching a single bit of film. Like, won the Heisman.
Dude, what a legend. I like that guy even more now than I ever did before.
I was like, what in the world? How in the world did he do this? And they're dropping 70 on people at A&M. And he look at
bro, he won a Heisman with no tape watch at all. He football goat somewhere, dog.
Bro, he's hanging out with Justin Timberlake and LeBron James. Like, bro,
what in the
just
world?
getting tore up the whole time, dog.
If we're going to give an award for person to take advantage, what's the thing? Guys that do nothing and get a grade A at school.
Yeah, bro, he's a legend.
Johnny football.
I like him way more now.
And I was sitting there watching. I was like, "There's got to be a place for him to do something today." And I was like, "Well, he got drafted in 2014. It's been 10 years. He never watched film, so I don't even know what he'd be able to do." But Cody, what's your takeaway Saturday? Panthers versus Jets. What's something you're going to be looking for?
So my honorable mention is Brady Christensen, to see how he looks against the starters and Quentin Williams. I know a lot of people have doubts about Brady. They're already wanting to see Chandler Zavala there. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with the guard position. But my actual answer is Matt Corral. I mean, from all the reports that we've gotten, Matt Corral is going to be playing a majority of the snaps. I kind of doubt that we're even going to see Andy Dalton. And I love that, man. Like, give him an opportunity to play ball. He's been third behind Bryce and Andy, and he was behind Baker and Sam and PJ last year. Like, give Matt Corral a chance to play. Let him improve his stock. If somebody is willing to give you a meaningful enough draft pick, maybe send him off to a better spot. But I'm also not opposed to keeping him as just having another young, talented quarterback on the roster. God forbid anything should happen to the two guys in front of him. So I think it's a really big opportunity for Matt, and I'm excited to see what he does it. I'm hoping it doesn't make me look dumb, man. I've been pounding the Matt Corral drum for a long time, as Monty knows. So I'm hoping that he can show out.
He's going to get some snaps for sure. He's going to probably play the bulk of the preseason, I would imagine. I thought I saw that Dalton's not going to play at all in the preseason, and there's really no need for him to. He's kind of done this before. Bryce, I'd imagine he's going to play games 1 and 2. They'll probably sit him game 3. For me, I think it's probably the running back depth. I've got a lot of friends that went to App State. They've all been asking me about Cameron Peoples and what he's doing and how he is. Skylar Callahan from Sports Illustrated that does Believe in Panthers with me. He was out there every day during training camp. He is very high on Raheem Blackshear. He said he didn't want to jinx it, but he was like, he could potentially be the home run hitter out of that group that nobody's talking about. So I want to see them, and I think we'll see them in the preseason more so than I think Miles Sanders has a slight groin pull or something like that. So I don't expect to see him Saturday. That leaves everybody else: Chuba, Blackshear, Peoples. There's a couple others I'm probably missing that are backup running backs, but I want to see them in action with the 1s and the 2s and just kind of see what they can do. Because from my understanding, we were running all over the Jets. I mean, y'all were there, or you were there, Monty, on Wednesday.
I want to call it.
Oh, Monty's at work.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, fellas. Yeah, I had one of my employees come and ask me a question. I'm sorry.
No. You got to do what you got to do, bro. No, I was saying I thought I'd heard that the Panthers were running up and down on the Jets defense on Wednesday. Was that correct? Because you were out there, weren't you?
Yeah. The offense looked great against the Jets defense. I'll be honest. Aaron Rodgers dotted us up. Now, when it came to 11-on-11 our ones versus their ones, the defense definitely dominated. But when on the opposite side of the field, when it was our twos versus their ones, Aaron Rodgers had his way. But yeah, Bryce Young in that offense moved the ball up and down the field all practice. It seemed like, against that. They had Bryce had that one interception and I posted it, and, you can make the argument that, either the ball came a little late or the receiver could have made a better play on the ball. But outside of that one mistake, Bryce was damn near perfect, man. And it honestly makes me a lot more confident going into this preseason game because, if that's what it's going to look like come Saturday, dude, Bryce is going to have a game, man. And now, mind you, it's still early. It's still preseason. It's not, you can't really judge much off of preseason. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what it looks like Saturday.
I would agree with that. And I know Monty's running short on time. He's got to get up out of here. Anything you want to get out real quick, Monty, before you got to go?
Nah, man. Man, practice was definitely I went to, I believe, 5 practices out of the 11. Definitely, Panther fans, we're going to have a lot of things to be excited about. I'm actually going to upload my article from training camp later today. So just be, expect that article from me here later today, man. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what the future holds, man. I think we're going to have a very good season this year, fellas. And of course, we're going to talk about it more as the season goes on, man. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Where's your article dropping, Monty?
Yeah.
I'm looking to drop it somewhere around lunch. I got to run here and put out some more flyers at work. But yeah, I'm looking. I already have it done. I'm just waiting to upload it to our website here, so it should be up. I'm willing to say about lunchtime.
Right. What's the website though? Where can they find it?
Oh, 4manrush.com. It will be the 4manrush.com. If you follow me on Twitter, our Twitter handle here, just follow me on Twitter, and like I said, you'll be able to see the link there.
Dope.
All right, well, we're gonna cut it right there. We'll be back with a little bit of a longer episode next week after this game gets some analysis on preseason week 1, and looking forward to week 2. We'll have some more debate there. Pretty sure we'll be on Thursday mornings around 10:30 live. You can catch it at youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Follow the Keep Pounding Podcast Network on Facebook and on Twitter at KP_FFSN. Also follow the Fans First Sports Network. They have podcast for all 32 NFL teams. That's Fans First _SN. Subscribe to Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel for more Embrace debate. And of course, again, follow Fans First Sports Network on Twitter at Fans First _SN. That's it for us this morning. For Cody and for Monty, I'm Dez. We will see you next week with more Embrace debate.